so much for staying tuned to Champions TV, and welcome back to the second part of Nature Talk. And today we are discussing about the life lessons we get from nature and also the goodness of nature in general. Our guest in studio is Mr. Ezekiel Odongo, who is talking to us more about why we really need to conserve nature. Now, from our previous discussion, you talked about vehicles, and I understand that especially in Nairobi, most people have cars. And the issue is that everyone wants to drive the cars. Now, what do you advocate for? Should they drive the cars or should they use the public transport?
Well, people use cars personal cars for convenience. And of course, there's also a feeling that comes when you have your own car. But now, when it comes to the issues with the environment, is something that needs to be considered. Now, there is something that is called the cable car. The cable car can move, for example, when you see the electric lines, they can move on such lines at a very high speed. For example, in Africa, there is cable car in Table Mountain in South Africa, that they use it for tourist attraction. Ugudu Ranch in Nigeria, there is cable car where they use it for majorly tourist attraction. But when you go to a country like Singapore, they use cable car for transport in the city. If that can be adopted in Kenya, believe you me, it can reduce a number of private cars within the city, and that can reduce a lot of the pollution, because most people will be using the cable car. In cable car there is no jam, and it's very quick. Yes, so that can help a lot to reduce. And also, if you can use, especially now the rules that are coming in right now for the traffic, if the matatu industry can improve their services very well, then believe you me, most people may be attracted to use matatu instead. Yes, and that can also reduce the number of cars within the city, which can be quite important.
So, again, from our previous discussion, you talked about carelessness. But there's this issue of the minds together with morals, whereby you find someone has the idea, yes, I need to throw dust in specific places, like the dust bins. But you find, again, the same person who has been taught about disposing waste in a sustainable manner is the same person who is disposing the waste in places where they are not supposed to be. So what can you say about this?
Grace, what I think, in my own opinion, is that wisdom and knowledge are overrated. Because most of the things we do not stem from the knowledge we have or from the wisdom. But as research says that a higher percentage of everything we do per day stems from our habits, the habits that we develop. And habits overrides logic. That is why you find a doctor who knows the consequences of smoking is smoking seriously. That is why you walk around on the road and you see a packet of cigarette with drawings of someone whose teeth have been eliminated, or someone with a picture of someone who cannot perform on bed. The picture is physically there, but the packet is empty. Someone saw the picture but ended up smoking. So you realize that they know what they're supposed to do, but they don't do because it is already part of them. They already formed a habit of that. So people already know the dangers of destroying the environment. People have been taught the consequences of handling the environment anyhow, or handling the nature anyhow. But because we have negative habits, we keep on doing the negative things that contradict what you already know. Are you getting that? So it is all about the habits that we have, not what we know. That is what we need to work on. So if you only work on, if you only focus on the knowledge that someone has, but this person does not develop the right habit, you'll keep on doing the same wrong thing, whether it is bad or not. Now, for example, take an example. I want to give an example that will shed light on the habits. When someone is very drunk, is completely drunk, but the person is able to drive home safely, the moment they reach and they come out of the vehicle, they fall right there. And you ask yourself, how did this person manage to come home? The driving is already embedded in their subconscious mind, so they drive habitually. Are you getting that? They drive without thinking. So they were not really thinking how to drive or how to reach you, but because the thing is already in their system, they drive and reach home automatically. And so also, if the bad habit of abusing the environment is already in us, you don't need to think, you don't need to invite the knowledge you have about it, you end up abusing it anyhow, and that is what you keep doing. Yes, it's all about the habits that you have. Yeah.
And so what do you advocate for? What can be done about this?
Now, well, we need to keep on creating the awareness. One thing we know is that one thing that can change someone is repetition. Repetition brings persuasion. If you keep repeating something consistently, at one point people will consider it. And also we need to encourage the right habit. And it starts very small. Someone is inside matatu and is eating inside the matatu. Matatu is moving, they only remove their hand through the window and dispose the wastes through the window. They just drop it anyhow because they know no one is seeing them. Otherwise, they don't care what will happen when those things are there. It starts very small, buying airtime, scratching it, and disposing it anywhere as long as you've already taken the numbers. So it starts from us, first of all, developing the right habits and having the consciousness of nature in our mind, so that anything that we do, we have the nature in our mind that we need to conserve it. So we need to work on our habits and also consistently create awareness about that.
Okay.
Yes.
And now we understand that we have talked about the unsustainable use of the natural resources. And so what are some of the solutions that can be done in order to ensure that nature is really conserved?
Now, first of all, I like the policy that the government, was trying to bring up, that people, every time you cut a tree, you need to plant more trees. Agreeing that to compensate for the one that you cut, and also ensuring that everyone plants a number of trees. That should work. It comes a point, because if people are encouraged to do it, some may not do it. But if government put it as a policy, then people can do that. And also I think for the issue of poaching, where you hear the people poaching, killing animals anyhow to sell for meat here and there, I think such kind of policies need to be reinforced so that such are reduced. And also when we talk of creating awareness, especially in the villages, these things happen a lot, where people just cut down trees anyhow, people can just do anything anyhow. I think if people can be dispatched, well-knowledge people can be dispatched to such kind of places to help people, to tell people the importance of the environment, the importance of nature, I think that can help to some extent. Yes, because sometimes people do things because they don't know the consequences, the negative consequences. So if that can also be done, that can help to some extent. Yeah.
And so I also have a question for you at a personal level.
Yes.
What do you do to ensure that the environment is conserved? What is anything that is surrounding you is used in a sustainable manner?
Personally, I deliberately developed an antivirus in my mind. How can I put it? But I don't like putting things anyhow. I don't like disposing things anyhow. I really observe the so-called right disposal of wastes. That one I really consider a lot. I get in that. And At home, we are blessed with some fertile land. And one of the things that we do is that we fence our homes with the trees. So that is what we do. We use trees to fence the home. So it helps to guard the home, and also helps to preserve the environment. Yes, and also there are some trees that we also, plant for commercial purposes. Like we have quite a number of trees that are planted for commercial purposes. The moment they grow to some extent, they are cut down, and they can be used for some things. But we ensure we plant them in quite a number. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
can you estimate the number of trees you have planted in this year? Because all of us, we are advocating for surpassing the 10% according to the United Nations environmental programs.
Wow.
Yeah. So how many have you planted? This is conservation at personal level.
Mm. Well, if I really can't be accurate on that, because I send money and someone does for me. Mm-hmm. Unless I take statistics to know how many there are, but at least I know the land, the piece of land that they are planted. So unless probably I get statistics from the person that is doing that.
Okay. So once again, thank you so much for staying tuned to Champions TV. Remember that this is Nature Talk, and we have just heard about the inspirational part of nature. And an encouragement for us is that you should use what is surrounding you in a sustainable manner in order to avoid compromising the future generation. My name is Grace Achieng. Until next time, see you.